Nice. Oh. Yes! Yes! Keep going! Yes, 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 yes! Dude, that was so bad! How you got that? I did! Oh, that's excellent. So Elevon's is a foothold system that I've been designing for the last 9 months. So the design goal of Elevon's initially has been to create a system that is adjustable, extremely rigid and robust, but then also decently affordable at the same time. Alongside being something that's easy to install or easy to remove from your board if you need to. Hitting all of that criteria at once I found to not really be possible or work. So instead I opted for an ecosystem of parts which achieved those things in different ways. As you can tell by this mess of blocks in front of me, I started with lots of different block designs and then lots of different mounting types. And I also use a bunch of different materials to achieve those design goals as well. So the end result of all of this experimenting is a system with 3 mount types and then numerous block designs. The first mount type is the bolt tracks. You can see them mounted on this GT here. These are machined brackets that essentially slot into the corners of your Mushies footpad. So these are pretty special. They bolt into the corner of your bumper and then also the corner of your rail at the same time. So they completely integrate themselves with your Onewheel's frame for maximum strength. The 2 channels themselves fit around the shape of a V3, V2, V4 Stoke stock sensor, which allows them to work without any kind of sensor modification. And the bolt tracks themselves have a special geometry in the underside. It has a simple track here, which lets you take a small M5 nylock nut, pop it into the track, and slide up and down its length. What that's going to do is form the basis of your mounting system for either individual bolts or the next mounting system, which is the crossbar. These are directly integrated into the bolt tracks, but they have a set of M5 threads down their length. What that's going to do is allow you to mount a block up and down the length of the crossbar in any position, and open up a lot more freedom in terms of where you can move one of these blocks to across your footpad. They're going to allow you to sit a block in this range in the middle above the end of your sensor, which is quite useful. They're also a very rigid system. However, the downside of this entire setup is that it is decently expensive for all of these machined parts, which is where the next mounting system comes in. So the last mount system is that of the Elevon mount plates. So these are simply plates that bolt into the end of your Mushies footpads, and they reduce the adjustability at the benefit of reducing cost. As these complex bolt tracks aren't required, these simple plates make it, about half the price, which is excellent. And they still offer an absolutely rigid design as they're still bolted into your board's rail and bumper. They also come with TPU spacers as well, which are just going to allow them to sit completely flush against your footpad system. And in the same shape and design of the crossbar, these plates have a set of M5 threads down their length, so you can move the hook designs up and down their length as well. And then, of course, last but most is the actual block designs themselves. So these can, of course, be mounted in different ways to the bolt tracks, crossbars, and plates. There are 2 main designs, that being the wall and the hook. So the hook has a large leaning edge, which is meant for covering over your toes. The wall piece here is a flat edge that curves upwards. It's meant for bracing around the side of your ankle or up to around the bridge of your foot. Both of those blocks do have a decent amount of angle over your foot, and therefore they're going to reduce the effectiveness or ease of you being able to escape if you need to jump off. So that's why I also made small versions. These blocks are only about 4 centimeters tall and are designed to push against just the sole of your feet. There's one little hook which has a very decent dig into the sole of your shoe, and then also a little wall which is good for pushing against but doesn't hold you in nearly as much as the other block designs. And then the last block design is the wedge. This is the only piece that isn't symmetrical and is designed to brace over the full entire bridge of your foot, which is extremely useful for locking you in against, crazy terrain. But it is the hardest to escape from in the event of you needing to get out of your footholds. This wedge is definitely best used with the crossbars and the plates, so that's going to be necessary because this needs to sit in the middle of your foot pad. So that's the block designs, those are the mount designs, and yeah. So now that I quickly covered the different mount designs and then also the different block types, I just want to quickly discuss the experimentation that went into this system from start to finish in just a rough sense. I pretty early on settled on the bolt tracks as I was very interested in this system. It's very sleek, and all it does is require some bolts quickly to remove and adjust your blocks as well. Pretty early on, I settled on needing 2 bolts installed into your block in order to secure it in place, as that stops lateral movement up and down the bolt track, but then also rotation at the same time. But the early issues I encountered using 3D printed blocks was that of the material properties. So I was initially using nylon carbon fiber, and the problem with that was that the nylon would deform around the head of the bolt and then lose its pressure, meaning that it could slip and start rotating around its bolts, and that was not ideal. I tried other plastics like polycarbonate, and that did not end up going well. I tried higher shore hardness versions of TPU, and that resulted in quite good success when used with a toothed washer to bite it into place, essentially. But everything changed once I tried PPACF. This plastic is essentially twice as rigid as nylon carbon fiber, and therefore it doesn't have the same issues of losing pressure around the bolt head and beginning to slide and wiggle. So despite the fact that this plastic is very expensive, I'm very, very, very happy that this has ended up working out, and it's definitely what I'll be using for a lot of products moving forward, including these blocks. So of course, because they work so well at bolting into the individual bolt tracks, these blocks in this plastic end up working excellently with the other more rigid but more overbearing solutions like the crossbar and the plates. But yeah, I really am in love with the bolt track design because all it takes is 2 screws for you to fully remove your block and also adjust it as well. So you can quickly go from having blocks set up like this to then having normal foot pads, which is just really fun and really cool. So yeah, that is a full rundown of the entire system, and then also a bunch of the steps that it took for me to design the whole thing. Everything's available now, so go and check it out. There's also a system guide that I made which details you through the bolting procedures with some diagrams, and that's all up on the website as well. I will be getting the files out for this soon so that you can potentially design your own blocks. I'm also working on a camera mount for it too. Yeah, that's basically everything that's going on. Thanks for watching. The work that went into this is extreme, so thanks for your support, and thanks for continuing to support.